14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
Welcome into episode 95. Wow, we're sneaking up on triple digits for Hometown Threads on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM and Willimantic Today Facebook. And WILI Radio YouTube. That's right. If you want to, it's not just Hometown Threads on our YouTube channel. The WILI YouTube channel is stacked with all our great, wonderful talk shows that air every day of the week here on WILI. You got, of course, Matt Rupar's Homegrown, which you catch Friday afternoons on WILI. That's up on our YouTube channel. On the Home Front with John Murphy, and go right down the line. So it's not just Hometown Threads, but we encourage you to subscribe by searching WILI Radio on YouTube, and then you can watch all our great shows. Ravings and Cravings with Ruth, which you can catch every Monday. Hometown Threads airs on the radio Tuesdays on 14 WILI, 95.3 FM. Big thanks to Liberty Bank. Be community kind with 3 great local locations across the street from the radio station at 679 Main Street, Willimantic. Of course, West Main Street, Gateway Commons, managed by my lovely wife, Mary Ann, and Mansfield, Route 195, Liberty Bank. They're all over the place. Be community kind. And of course, thanks to another sponsor, Mark Tripoli Pro Clean Services. Mark sponsors the Hometown Threads podcast, which you can hear on WILI.com. Big thanks to Mark Tripoli. Also, along with viewing the show on Willimantic Today, Facebook, my Facebook page, Keith C. Rice, the guest Facebook page. You can also watch it on Spectrum Cable 192. So you can watch it on various platforms, but it only airs on one radio station, 2 frequencies, 1400 AM and 95.3 FM, WILI, Tuesdays 5:05 to 5:30. Without further delay, let's welcome in, big thanks to J. Matt Rupar. Did I say that already?
No,
say hello to the fine... Hello. Oh my God, it's the first time in about 95 episodes when I hand Matt the Liberty mug. Here, Matt, hand it back to me for a second.
Hand it back, all right, buddy.
J. Matt Rupar, if you'd be so kind, say hello to the fine folks.
Hello?
Yeah, I can't believe that. That's our regular shtick. I something didn't feel right there in the doing the opening. So, yeah, big thanks to J. Matt Rupar. Of course, I mentioned him 3 times now. I mentioned Homegrown Friday afternoons. So if you're a Connecticut music person, definitely get in touch with Matt and check out his show. Let's welcome in our guest for episode 95, my man from Preston Family Tree, Ian Preston.
All right, Keith.
How you doing?
Good.
Good to have you in here. We kind of go way back with the, our Eastern Connecticut Professionals Networking Group, which is 2 years ago. So, yeah, we go way back. No, I've known Ian it's been a couple of years, right?
Yeah, a little while.
And Ian's done some work on our property, me and my wife and I, and done a wonderful job on our property in Wyndham Center, getting, as they say, wait, is this the slogan for Preston Family Tree? We'll get it gone?
It's one of 2.
What's the other one?
Yeah, what was the other one there? I haven't used it in a little while now. Simply because we care.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, so simply because we care and get it gone. Preston Family Tree, Ian Preston. We'll get into the wonderful work you did. I guess was it over a year ago? You're up there now?
I think it was this time last year.
You're right.
About a year ago.
Well, yeah, because every time we go on vacation, we live around a lot of pines, a lot of big trees. And for the second time, first that was Vegas, 2021. Now it was Florida. We have somebody text something, hey, you had another tree that fell. I mean, we're talking a giant tree. I'm like, why does this always happen when we go away? But anyway, and that's what Ian does. It's tree removal. And what else does Preston Family Tree do? Let's learn a little about Preston Family Tree before we get into learning about Ian.
So it's mainly tree removal. Like more than 90% of our revenue is tree removal. Otherwise, we do some fall cleanups, gutter cleaning. We used to do a lot more like landscaping, stuff like that, but then we geared the company toward tree removal for equipment, skill set for employees and things like that. So most of what we do is tree removal. As we add equipment, the next couple of years, as we add equipment, we will add services as well, because equipment obviously adds services. So
you're continuing to grow. And what year did you start this business?
2018.
Okay, 2018. We'll get into all that, but now let's get the backstory of Ian Preston, how it all began. What town did you grow up around here?
I grew up in Eastford.
Eastford?
So just a couple towns away.
Buell's Orchard?
Yep.
Okay, how close to Buell's Orchard?
Oh, I mean,
An apple's
if
throw?
If you're anywhere in Eastford, you're like 10 minutes away.
That's right, I know. Blinking, you may miss it, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because it's like, what do they call that? A subdivision of Ashford, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So Eastford's a beautiful, Eastford, beautiful area. But, it's like, first thing I think when you say Eastford, I think of Buell's Orchard, which I'm sure you've been to a million times.
Every year.
Every year. It's a tradition. Great apple picking there.
Yeah.
All right, so you grew up in Eastford. Let's see, where'd you go to school?
So I went to Eastford Elementary School, and then I went to the VOAG in Killingly High School.
Oh, you went to, okay, VOAG in Killingly, because, Lyman's got VOAG. So, is that where, when you're in Eastford, is that where, where would you go to high school?
So I would have gone to Woodstock.
Woodstock, okay.
But I wanted to take the ag program, so I ended up going, and I do use what I learned there. I ended up in the aquaculture and natural resources class. So I don't use the aquaculture, but I do use the natural resources portion. Rarely, but I do sometimes use it. So it was nice to go there and learn and be able to utilize that.
So going to school at Killingly for the VOAG program, did you know in high school while attending Killingly, did you already kind of feel like where you wanted to go with your career, or were you trying to figure it out while you were taking VOAG?
I was trying to figure it out. I knew I wanted to do something outdoors, and I've been working since I was 12 years old with chainsaws, so I knew
That's
it was
amazing.
probably going to end up being tree work. But I really didn't have it nailed down then. I was just trying to figure it out.
I'm 52 and I'm scared to death of a chainsaw. No, I'm around. I could be around them and stuff. I'm not like scared of them, but I know it can't be that hard to operate. You got to be very careful.
Yeah, very careful. Yeah.
I could probably do it, but I'd rather. I'll do the. I'll do the moving of the logs and stuff like that. And if somebody does,
or you do this and I'll do that.
What do you mean?
You do radio and I'll do tree. I'm super uncomfortable here, so I imagine probably the same with chainsaw.
I'd be a little nervous picking that thing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's like you could do it in your sleep, obviously. But tell us, first of all, let's go back to when you were 12. How were you exposed or learning about or using chainsaws at the age of 12? Get into that a little bit.
So I was taught just to work. If you want something, go get it. So I did. I started a lawn mowing business, and I had this push mown lawnmower, and I would push it to my customers. Just a few houses down the road, but I would push the lawnmower to my customer's house. One day I get there, and this tree had fallen in his yard, and
That's a sign.
yeah. So I was like, I should offer to remove that for him, and so I did. I went and got a chainsaw, and he paid me to.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Okay, that's very nice. Nice gesture. You're 12 at this point?
Yeah.
You went and got a chainsaw at the age of 12. Who taught you how to start it? Like, somebody had taught you that before, right? You already knew how to work it?
My dad taught me the basics.
Okay, so you already knew. You just did it for the first time, so
Very,
figure this out.
Yeah, very little though. I mean, I hadn't done much of it at home. I was 12 years old. You know how much you're really going to do before 12 years old with a chainsaw. But
So you went and got that chainsaw at age 12, went over to you said your neighbors, right?
yeah, a few houses down the road. Yeah.
Was this the first time by yourself you're about to use a chainsaw?
Yeah. Of course, the gentleman was home.
Okay, good. Jesus, God forbid. Wow, I mean, that's pretty impressive. A 12-year-old firing up a chainsaw, and how big was the tree? Was it as big as what you took off our property? Was it?
It was substantially smaller
Okay.
than your tree.
I was gonna say, the size of the tree that came down on our property.
Massive.
If you did that at age 12, I want pictures.
Yeah.
Or video or something. But anyway.
I don't even have pictures of it. That's crazy. No, you
But the
mentioned
first
that.
one you did?
Yeah.
Because I know. Now I'm thinking that'd be a great thing to frame. The first tree I ever removed.
Should've.
Age 12. Do you think the person, so you can go back and get that? Think he took a picture? No,
Probably not.
Because that'd be something really.
It's funny too because I can picture the yard and everything.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is in Eastford, or?
Yep.
Wow.
Yes. So it was right up the road.
Okay, so
I
that.
remember his name.
Yeah, well, you never know. Next time you see him, go, hey, this is a strange question, but you didn't take a picture that day, did you? I kind of like to frame the first tree I ever removed. Anyway, that's great to know about Ian here. Ian Preston, Preston Family Tree. He's been removing trees since the age of 12. How old are you now?
34.
Okay, well, look at that. Now, talk about experience. So a light must have went off on that day. Okay, that was pretty cool. You're 12 years old. I give you credit. When I was 12, I wasn't even thinking about radio, and I got into radio in my teens, but that's pretty good. So you knew what you...
I knew what I liked at least.
Okay, so that was a start. So what happens after that? You finish at Killingly with the VOAG program.
Finished at Killingly. Had a landscaping business, mostly just lawn mowing.
Again, right out of Killingly, you have a landscaping business.
Yeah, part of the FFA program is that you're required to have some work to do so that you can kind of build.
Okay.
And so I did that. I worked on a farm in high school, and then I had the lawn care business. And then shortly after high school, I got married and moved up to Maine. So whatever business I had,
Move where?
I closed it all down and I moved to Maine.
Oh, Maine. What part of Maine?
Holton.
Okay.
So it was the last town before Canada.
You met your wife here, and you guys just packed up. And why'd you want to go to Maine?
So her grandparents were living up there, and they were getting older. They didn't have much family around, so we went up there to help them out and just be there for them. Which turned out we were very young and not very helpful to them, but we did what we could.
That's nice. Now, what part of Maine where's Holton? Is that like central Maine, or?
So it's, take the highway up, and it's the last town before Canada.
Oh, near Presque Isle.
Yeah, well, Presque Isle is even farther north in Maine, but
that's family members in Presque Isle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's way up there. Holton's way up there.
It is, yeah.
Huh. So how many years were you up there?
4.5, 5, not quite 5.
And
after Holton, we moved down to Millinocket, and I was doing logging down there.
Oh, really? Okay, so you stayed in Maine for a while.
Yeah.
All right, so you moved down to, what was the name of the town?
Millinocket.
Okay. After that, how long are you there, and then when do you decide, okay, it's time to go back to Connecticut? How's that all happen?
So we were logging in Millinocket, and it was great, and obviously it was...
You say we. Is your wife part of this now? Or
No, she wasn't in the woods with me, but she did help me to make decisions on equipment and stuff like that.
Wait, you didn't have the business yet. What year was this?
This was, I don't even know. Before 2018 anyway. So
Okay,
so this was before the business. But I was logging and was struggling, having a hard time making ends meet. And then one day I came home from work, and wife tells me she's pregnant, and I had always promised her that if she got pregnant we would go home.
Wow.
So I kept my word and we went home.
Wow. Shout out to your wife. Go ahead.
Kayla, thank you so much for what you do.
And the 2 kids?
Morgan and Ava.
Okay. Love it.
These 3 are the light of my life.
Yeah. I remember you guys came driving over to our place when we talked about the work, and but what a wonderful family. Beautiful family. Okay, so you moved back to Connecticut. What town do you come back to?
Moved back with my parents for a few months, and then moved to an apartment in Ashford.
Okay, Ashford. Now we must be getting close to 2018 at this point, right?
Yeah, we started the business when I was living in Ashford.
Okay, now how does that? You're about to have your first child. Is this when you guys decide, okay, let's start a business, or how'd that all?
So I actually had a job because I was like, well, we got a baby on the way. I should probably have a regular job with insurance and make sure I'm set. Well, that was great, except for I got fired.
Oops.
Right.
It happens.
Not the best employee. I was younger. I had a little bit more hot-headed. Maybe didn't make the best decisions. Got myself fired, and out of necessity started the business. I was like, well, I just lost my job. Actually, at that point, my daughter was 3 months old.
Wow.
So I was like, man, I can't just not work. I have to do something. What do I do? I have a chainsaw and a pickup truck. So I started knocking. The storm had just blown through, trees were down, and I was like, I could do that. So I started knocking on doors and drummed up some work.
This is how it started.
I had $40 to my name, and I put that $40 in the tank of the truck. And
I love hearing stories like that. Chainsaw, pickup truck, sounds like a country song, and $40 to his name. How about that? They could throw that into the title too. Chainsaw, pickup truck, $40 a minute. That'd be kind of a lengthy song, but what a story! I love it. This is a great story, Ian. Yeah. So that's how you got the ball rolling. Was it did you already know the company name, Preston Family Tree, or how did that?
Well, I knew that I wanted the word family in my company name because I was the kind of person, and I still am the kind of person who will work from sun up to sundown and then some. So I needed to put the word family in there to remind me that I have a family and I needed to go home. I put that in there, and obviously my last name Preston, so I just kind of all put it all together. and there was a good name, or at least what I liked as a name, and it reminds me every day that why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for my family.
And what are we in 2025? So you're going into your 7th year with Preston Family Tree. Ian Preston with us. Preston Family Tree, episode 95 of Hometown Threads on WILI and Willimantic Today Facebook, and Spectrum 192. Brought to you by Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. So going into your 7th year, do you have an anniversary when the business officially started?
You know, it's funny because I actually don't. I mean, I'm sure there is one, but
Yeah.
it was so chaotic when I started it, I never paid attention to the date.
Well, the chaotic part is important. I mean, you can always go back and probably find the date.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you got the business going. Tell us how it really started to pick up. You know, what was it in 2019? Then COVID came. How did you navigate through the whole COVID era? So a lot of my guests talk about, we had to get through COVID. So how about Preston Family Tree with COVID?
Just grind.
I'm sure it had to be pretty busy for you because
yeah, it was.
you're outside. You know, I mean, so
and
tell us
everybody
about
was
that.
hiring for they're outside looking at their yard. And
So you must have been busy during
we were
COVID.
really busy, and I mean, at least what I thought was busy at that time. Like we were even smaller of a business then, less equipment. So it was super busy. We were just working everywhere from Glastonbury to South Windsor to we were
Really?
everywhere. Yeah.
During COVID.
Yeah.
And you still do that to this day, right?
Yeah, we've narrowed it down a little bit more. Trying to keep it to like 45 minutes from Chaplin.
Okay. Because I'm sure now here we are heading into we're in 2025. I'm sure you have more employees now, right?
Yeah.
You want to shout out to some of your staff, and because you've really grown, as you've been saying. Go ahead, shout out to some of your staff.
Yeah, so right now, so it's me. I do the sales, and my wife, she does the office work. And then we've got our foreman, John, and our ground worker, Lucas. Right now, we are looking to hire someone else.
They're hiring. Okay.
Yes, we're looking to hire, but we want a skilled professional. We want somebody who knows what they're doing. Spend a lot of time training and losing those employees that we trained. So I'm looking to hire somebody who already knows.
Stop training so well.
I know. It's awful. But we want somebody who can just get to work, and I can set them up and know that they're going to do a good job.
All right. So how many people are you looking to hire at this point?
One to start, and that's until the season really kicks off. Once we get real busy, I probably at that point would entertain another ground person. That'd be 4 people on site.
Okay. So Preston Family Tree continuing to grow. Ian's looking to hire. I'm going to read it right after Sweatshirt here. 860-933-6383. Again, 860-933-6383. Of course, you can find Preston Family Tree on Facebook. How about an email? You want to throw out an email?
It's preston.treescape@gmail.com. It's treescape like landscape.
So preston.treescape, right?
gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Okay, so tell us a little more about. You said you're pretty busy as you get into we're approaching spring. The groundhog said 6 more weeks of winter. That's completely vague. We're really getting closer to spring, and tell us about you're busy, but you could always. How busy are you? Let's just ask that.
So right now we're booking for 2-3 weeks, which is not crazy, but that's good for this time of year. Usually, we're lucky to do a couple of jobs a week at this time of year, but we're booked out for a few weeks, and we're still getting calls rolling in. So we're doing more estimates, booking more work. I'd like to say work usually picks up in March. So February is a little, touch and go kind of, and then March picks up pretty good.
So yeah, during this time of year, January, February, March, what do you find yourself doing? Like you're still doing some kind of outside work, right?
Yeah. I mean, even on the coldest days this winter, we're still worked. Just because it's cold doesn't mean the bills aren't due. So
take us through kind of some of the stuff you do in the real cold temperatures.
So a lot of times what we did at least this winter was work that required less equipment because the equipment doesn't like the cold. So if you're trying to run equipment, you're going to run into all kinds of problems. Yeah. So I kind of try to look for work that doesn't require necessarily the bucket truck or the loader, or basically we can just go out with a truck and some chainsaws and get some work done. Or day rate jobs, if there's something that's a volume of work and they just want to pay us for a day of work, we can do that. So something that you kind of got to dance around the weather though, because if it's real snowy, like if there's 2 feet of snow, you can't get to a tree. Or
Right.
if it's warm for some random reason in the middle of February and the ground's thawed, now you got mud to deal with. So it's a shuffle. There's a lot of shuffling to do
Yeah.
this time of year.
Now take us through kind of like my situation. A tree falls, or how do you go about setting up appointments? You usually have to go out and see the situation. Take us through how an appointment is set up with Preston Family Tree and all that.
Okay. All right. So, for example, you called me for a tree. So what we do, you'll call the office. Kayla will grab your information, your address, your phone number, email address, and she'll catalog that in a program that we use called Jobber. And that program keeps track of all that, and then she takes your information and picks a date with you that works for you for me to come out and take a look at the tree. Then I go look at the tree.
So you get estimates and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and give you a price based on what I see there. Some people ask can I get a price from a photo? No, I cannot do that because the photo's this big and the tree's
Right.
substantial.
You got to see it in
huge.
person.
And then photos don't show you all the information. What's underground. I need to know if there's a septic, or are there power lines underground, or is there a well underground? Is there a dog fence underground? Is it how far from the house? Is it things like that? So I got to go on site to see the tree and evaluate how the tree has to be removed. And there's multiple ways to remove a tree too. So it really just depends on each scenario.
Do you do mostly tree removal? I know you do other stuff too. I guess what I want to ask is, we have a few minutes to go, and please, if there's other stuff you want to mention, we'll definitely get it in. But what's your? I know you basically remove trees, but what are some of the other fun things you like to do with this business, Preston Family Tree? You personally, like, oh, that was kind of cool, or it's just mainly tree removal.
It's mainly tree removal, but I like equipment operating.
Yeah.
It's costly to buy the equipment, but it's so nice to run a piece of equipment and get a job done and do a beautiful job and not have a sore back afterward.
You didn't have a sore back when you came to our place, did you?
No, because I was able to use the winch and the
And
the
you had
grappling.
a couple other guys, or was one other guy?
Yeah, I think on your job it was just one other guy. One other guy.
That was a big
It
tree.
was a massive tree.
It
Fortunately,
took almost all day, too.
Yeah, it was all day, but it was easy access, so it was good. We were just, like I said, hook up the winch and pull stuff out, and it was nice.
So it's the equipment operating, the getting. It's mainly just what's the biggest tree? Like, was mine the biggest tree?
No, we did one the other day. Probably wasn't the biggest.
The other day.
But it might have been the tallest. Yeah, we used a 50-ton crane, or a 55-ton crane. And we just took pieces of this tree and set it out in the woods, but this thing was massive.
Yeah.
And the tree weighed, I can't remember exactly, I think it was 29,600 pounds.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, you say you travel too. Where's the furthest you travel? Preston Family Tree?
So we're located in Chaplin. We go 45 minutes from there, which brings you to Glastonbury. We go to South Windsor, Vernon, Tolland, stuff like that, out to Hebron, Bolton. I think that's a pretty good circle.
They will travel. We're getting ready to wrap things up. I got to know. Well, first of all, is there anything else you want to mention? I know your Preston Family Tree is hiring. So if you're looking for a job, somebody's looking for a job. 860-933-6383. Ask for Ian or Kayla.
Yep.
Right. And what's the qualification you're looking for, Ian?
So there's not necessarily qualifications. We really just want somebody who, will take the talent that we get. But we want somebody who can climb trees and remove while they're in them, fly the bucket and remove trees while in the bucket, operate equipment. CDL is not required, but it's definitely a bonus for both of us. Other qualifications too of like first aid CPR certification, OSHA 10 certification. There's all kinds of other stuff like that too. It all piles up.
Is there anything else you'd like to pass along?
Just really love to serve our community and grow our business as a result.
Well, you are growing, sir. You definitely are. You're growing big time. And I like that, speaking of trees, growing.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a stretch,
Yeah,
right?
it's perfect.
All right. I got to ask you, is there anybody you want to shout out and show love to throughout this wonderful journey that has led you to Preston Family Tree.
Oh man, there's so many people. Mark Tripoli
Trip! Feel better.
Tripoli Pro Clean. We really like to work with him. I actually have been helping him out while he's down in the surgery, and there's so many people. My parents, my wife, even other tree companies. Green Valley Tree has been a help to me. Bud's Tree Service has been a help to me.
See, it's all like a little fraternity.
Absolutely. I mean, I just like to support other local people, even within my own industry, because if we're friendly with each other, we can help each other, rather than tear each other down.
He not only knows what he's doing, but he's a class act too. Call on Ian Preston, Preston Family Tree. Thank you, sir. Glad to see great things are happening for you in 2025 and beyond. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight here. It's because we care, and we'll get it gone.
Simply because we care.
Simply because we care, and get it gone.
Yep.
Preston Family Tree, give them a call, 860-933-6383. That'll do it for episode 95 of Hometown Threads on WILI, Willimantic Today, and Spectrum 192, and all the other platforms. Thank you to Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. Thank you to J. Matt Rupar, and in the words of the great Roddy McCumber.
Bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice, or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.